This is the Wrestling Replay. I'm Cato. Welcome to episode number 22. Go home edition to Monday Night Raw. Go home show before the SummerSlam pay-per-view. And I have to be honest, we got a new regime. We got new people at the top. Vince McMahon has retired from the WWE. Very big news. But this episode of Monday Night Raw didn't quite give me that go-home feel that I was actually looking for. Surprisingly to me, this episode actually felt like it was a 2-hour episode and not a real 3-hour episode of the show. And I'll tell you why. Show kicks off with The Miz and Logan Paul brawling to kick off the show at Madison Square Garden. Like the energy. You like for a show to kick off like that. Honestly, we have not seen a Monday Night Raw kick off in that fashion in quite some time. So that is kind of a new twist or a new era that we may be ushering in. So not a bad thing. But we also seen Logan Paul and The Miz later on in the night, leading to the same type of brawl, same type of attack. So we got the same thing happening twice. We seen Roman Reigns, the Bloodline, Paul Heyman. Love these guys. And we also seen these guys close off the show on Monday Night Raw. We seen the Mysterios for Mysterio's 20th anniversary in the WWE. He comes out, give his speech. Great. Of course, Judgment Day comes out, make their way for the tag team matchup. We see after the match, the pre-match, well, the post-match celebration with the Mysterios and their family, only to be attacked by Judgment Day again. We see Dolph Ziggler early in the show. We see Dolph Ziggler again in a tag team matchup. We see Austin Theory pretty much the whole Monday Night Raw. I feel like we just kept seeing the same people over and over in this Monday Night Raw. And I get that you're trying to advance SummerSlam. But the one thing I could say you probably did well out of everything is actually put Theory over and his storyline over of cashing in the Money in the Bank as the real story going into SummerSlam. Not really the Roman Reigns and the Brock Last Man Standing. That's not the big story. Granted, that'll be the big match that everyone's watching and waiting for, but the true story of that matchup is if Austin Theory will go and cash in his Money in the Bank like he's been saying week after week. He don't mind who it is, Roman or Brock. So that's the real story, and I think they did a great job with driving that point home all these weeks, and especially on Monday Night Raw, when I see Austin Theory so much, even at one point to kick off the show, Theory stepping in the ring with the Bloodline and Paul Heyman, 3-on-1 situation. Didn't mind, didn't really show any fear, so I like that a lot. As far as the matches, man, these things kind of got a little bit wonky. So let's go ahead and jump into things. Let's jump into some storylines. Let's jump into the advancement that they use to take us into SummerSlam. We got to see a match with Drew McIntyre versus Austin Theory. No way in the world I think that Theory defeats Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is still the WWE Superman. He's still a guy that they believe is going to be the super face to carry on SmackDown, possibly, to go and defeat Roman Reigns, possibly. I believe myself it'll be Cody Rhodes. It's just a much better story if he does it. But we've seen the way that Drew McIntyre been booked ever since they decided to put that World Championship on him years ago. So this matchup ends in a disqualification with Sheamus and Ridge Holland and Butch coming down and attacking Drew McIntyre. I understand you want to build towards that matchup, but honestly, we could have saved this Drew McIntyre and Theory match for SmackDown. I feel like that spot could have been used in a much better fashion. But either way, Bobby Lashley comes down there and make the save for Drew McIntyre, and it ends up in the tag team matchup, which is kind of corny. We've seen Monday Night Raw constantly do that. Well, the WWE constantly do this. A beatdown happens. Someone comes to help. No, we're not going to end it off this way. Let's make it a tag match. It's getting kind of corny. Now, what's even more shocking to me is the fact that you got Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. These guys was at each other's throats, not but a few months ago, you know? And these guys wrestle as a tag team as if they never had an issue at all. I would still like to see Drew McIntyre not fully trust Bobby, or Bobby not fully trust Drew McIntyre inside of this tag team matchup to still build towards or build upon their old feud that they had at one point in time on Monday Night Raw. I think that would have been great to interject that inside of the matchup. Granted, these guys still was victorious, defeated Theory and Sheamus. Theory tapping out to the Hurt Lock. Soon as he ended the Hurt Lock, Corey Graves did a great job on commentary. Commentary teams has really been bringing it home for shows like Monday Night Raw, shows like SmackDown, when these guys are in situations where the crowd may not really be into it anymore. For us at home, we get the benefit of having commentary, and we get the benefit of having guys like Corey Graves drive home the point of why Austin Theory taps so fast. His mind is focused on the bigger picture, going into SummerSlam, taking that United States Championship, winning the Undisputed Championship. So I like that we get to hear the commentary and stuff like that. Now, moving on, we got to see Mysterios, as I alluded to earlier. They defeated the Judgment Day in a tag team matchup. I'm not sure why the match actually started the way it started. Rey Mysterio is out there giving his speech. He's thanking everyone. And when he's done, Judgment Day kind of pops up from the crowd as if they're ready to lead some type of attack. And then it goes to commercial, and we come back from commercial, and it's just a regular tag match. I was expecting us to come back from commercial in a brawl or something like that. Now, I don't mind those type of situations leading to a tag match. I feel like that's a lot better than what Bobby Lashley did, coming down to help Drew McIntyre, and that leading to a tag team matchup. Hell, I'd rather have seen Bobby Lashley versus Sheamus and Drew McIntyre kind of just stand on ringside. Maybe something like that. That would have been a lot better. What else did we get to see? We got to see Becky Lynch, man. Becky Lynch. I'm looking through all my notes trying to see exactly what I wrote. Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. I have said this for a while, for a couple of weeks now. I feel like Becky Lynch is being booked to go back to that man role that she was when the fans first fell in love with her, when she was bloody in the nose from Nia Jax, when she had the belt, when she gave it to Asuka. I feel like we're getting to that Becky Lynch again. Last week, it was a situation where Becky kind of controlled everything. You would have thought Becky was the face in the situation, throwing down the title, kicking the dust up at Bianca Belair, and Bianca kind of just taking it, not really attacking her or anything. This week, Bianca and Becky get into it again. Becky is coming out there. She's trying to say whatever she needs to say, and Bianca is just kind of like agitating her, kind of like egging her on like a little kid, which leads into Becky actually attacking Bianca Belair. I feel like that's a face move to attack the heel when they're agitated or something like that. So Becky Lynch is constantly, to me, honestly, is looking like she is turning it back into that tweener role where she was on the line of a heel in the face. She didn't really care. The fans loved her. The fans got behind her. And I feel like we could be seeing Bianca Belair slowly possibly turning into a heel going forward. We've seen Alexa Bliss. She defeated Doudrop. Alexa Bliss, before that matchup, she put Bianca Belair, she put Becky Lynch on notice, saying, hey, I don't care who wins. I'm the next number one contender. Alexa Bliss, clear face right now, no longer in the road with The Fiend. So I would have to think going forward, I doubt we would see a face Bianca Belair versus a face Alexa Bliss. Could it happen? It definitely could happen. Could we see Becky Lynch take the title back at SummerSlam like she did before? That definitely could happen as well. But I don't know, man. I just got this little feeling that Bianca Belair will win the match at SummerSlam against Becky Lynch in some underhanded tactic, some underhanded type of way, and the fans are going to turn on her at SummerSlam. That's just what I think about it. Now, we got to see Chad Gable and, Dolph Ziggler and AJ Styles defeat the Alpha Academy. Dolph Ziggler coming back, man, big face, which leads me to Judgment Day, right? I said with Cody Rhodes out, with Randy Orton out, you needed some guys to step up. You really needed some A-plus players to kind of fulfill that role, at least until these guys can come back. You need some guys that the fans are going to get behind, that the crowd is going to really cheer, some faces that people really love. Dolph Ziggler comes back. This is his first match back. Prior to him even stepping in the ring, the fans already embraced him. Every time the music hit, the fans went crazy. Super kick at the end of the Monday Night Raw, the fans loved it. Tonight, same thing. Matchup with AJ Styles. He's over. He's over. He's one of those guys where no matter what role he's playing, he's going to get you to either hate him or he's going to get you to love him. Now, with us having a face like Dolph Ziggler back, maybe guys like AJ Styles possibly filling bigger shoes on Monday Night Raw, guys like Matt Riddle, he's still constantly in matches with people like Roman Reigns, as we've seen in the main event. We'll talk about that in a second. Could this be a situation where Edge comes back to the Judgment Day at SummerSlam, not to get revenge, but to actually rejoin Judgment Day? To say, you know what, you guys were right. I was a little weak. I was getting a little soft. We do need to turn up the intensity. We need to actually bring it. This is why I brought this group together. This is why I got the people that I handpicked to be in the group. We can do a lot more damage together now that I have went back and reinvented myself. Thank you for waking me up. I can see a situation where Rey Mysterio's out. Remember, this match is a no disqualification tag team match at SummerSlam with the Mysterios and Judgment Day. I can see a situation where Rey Mysterio's laid out. They're forcing Dominic to watch. Edge comes down to the ring, and he, instead of helping Rey Mysterio and Dominic, finish Rey Mysterio off right in front of Dominic, possibly pushing Dominic to a feud or a rivalry going forward, and now give him the motivation he needs, possibly to defeat guys like Finn Balor one-on-one or Damian Priest one-on-one, possibly building up him to be stronger and come back stronger than what he is right now. So that's just a little plot twist, man. I think it would be cool if something like that could possibly happen. Now, before we go on and jump into our main event, before we talk about Triple H taking over Hit of Creative and what that possibly may mean for shows like Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, please go ahead, hit that like, subscribe button if you haven't already, if you like what you're hearing. If you're a repeat viewer, you already know what to do, and you already hit that like for me. So, thank you. Now, I've seen a lot of people talk about why didn't we get Triple H, Madison Square Garden, a big arena, Rey Mysterio 20th anniversary, a big night. Vince McMahon is now retired. He's taking over as head of creative. Stephanie McMahon is now in charge. Why don't we get Triple H? That would just really set off Monday Night Raw, would give us great momentum going into SummerSlam. Me personally, I like the fact that Triple H did not show up at all at Monday Night Raw. Or Stephanie. Why? Because SummerSlam is already booked out. You're not going to change any matches going forward in the SummerSlam. You're not going to do anything too much different than what's already been laid out heading into the pay-per-view. Now, at the pay-per-view is where I think things could possibly turn and take a twist. That's why I would love to see guys like Kevin Owens, a guy like Tommaso Ciampa. Hell, I wish Johnny Gargano come back at SummerSlam. How crazy would that be if we get Johnny on the main roster of Monday Night Raw? We're talking about we need a big face. We got Triple H now at the head. These are guys that he loved in NXT. Guys that he was pushing to the moon. Butch, hell, he could possibly get a nice push. But I would love to see something like that happen at SummerSlam. And then at SummerSlam, that Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam, or hell, that Monday Night Raw 2 weeks after SummerSlam is when we finally get Triple H. Because normally the Monday Night Raw after the pay-per-view is kind of a pay-per-view that already gets good ratings. People are already tuned in because they want to watch the fallout and the backlash of what happened at the pay-per-view. Now, that following Monday is normally when the viewership kind of tinkers off. People seeing what happened. Either they're on board and they're going to watch, or they're not on board and they're going to decide, I'll wait maybe to pay-per-view time and I'll get excited again. Now, if he comes out on that Monday Night Raw and start to usher out a new regime, really start to put his imprint on Monday Night Raw, I think that would be perfect. I think that would be amazing. No one's expecting it. It helped definitely boost the viewership for that Monday Night Raw. It's definitely going to be a Raw you don't want to miss. I can see him bringing guys like Tommaso Ciampa and saying, you know what, why are you following The Miz around? Hell, they already got The Miz and Logan Paul situation wrong. Logan Paul is one of the most hated guys in whatever venue you want to put him on. whether it's the boxing ring, whether it's YouTube, whether it's the wrestling ring, don't matter. That's why him and The Miz worked so perfectly at WrestleMania. This was the perfect time to turn The Miz face, even if it was just going to be for a few months. A face Miz going into the matchup with Logan Paul, that's already a heel. He gives his promos like he's a heel. He just has the mannerisms of a heel and how he acts every time he enters the ring on Monday Night Raw or wherever he's going to be entering at, right? So I can see this a situation where you let the Miz turn face, get the crowd behind him, the fans behind him. At least that will draw people into this matchup at SummerSlam. I think it would really get people to care about the match at SummerSlam. I don't think people are really going to tune into SummerSlam to watch the Miz and Logan Paul, even though Logan Paul is a celebrity. People really just want to see Logan Paul lose and get punished. If that's not what's going to happen at SummerSlam, I feel like you wasted this whole feud. You wasted the money of signing Logan Paul. You kind of just missed the shot. You just kind of missed what you should have done, and with the wrong direction. It happens. But the main event, we got the Bloodline versus the Street Profits and Riddle. Riddle is constantly in these spots, man. I've told you, that rub from teaming up with someone like Randy Orton, it comes off, and now he's by himself. He's in main events. He's fighting guys like Roman Reigns, who's the champion. Sky's kind of the limit from here. He can only go up from here. So these guys did end up losing to the Bloodline, which I don't mind. The Bloodline was so over at Madison Square Garden, from them coming in to start the show off, over. From these guys ending the show, over. Roman Reigns is right now on that tinkering line where, yes, we boo him because he's the heel, but at the end of the day, you love him. You chant with him while he's in the ring. You hold up your ones when they talking about he's the one. So I like what's going on right there with Roman Reigns and the Bloodlines. Honestly, it's probably the best thing going on right now in WWE. And for our storyline, I love it because they're unique. They're actually all family. It's kind of like the old school Hart Foundation. But these guys are just a tad bit better, to be honest. Now, at SummerSlam, I wouldn't be surprised if we get Solo possibly coming up and helping Roman Reigns retain his title against Brock Lesnar. I think it's only a matter of time before he ends up on Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, and actually join the Bloodline. I wanted them to save that part for The Rock at WrestleMania, but if we're not going to get that, or they're unsure if they're going to get it, there's no need to save Solo. But if it's possible something you could have, then okay, I understand. I don't mind that. But that's pretty much everything that happened on Monday Night Raw, man. Drew McIntyre, I think they wasted that. I think they could have just left that boat right there on SmackDown and let him and Sheamus build their feud right there. This is the big story going into SummerSlam. Will he be able to cash in? Will he cash in and win? That's the real question, because he could cash in, and then you can have the Usos or Solo appear, and then he loses to Roman Reigns. You can have him cash in, and then Brock Lesnar hit him with an F5, and that's it. You lost your chance in 10 seconds. Maybe you should listen to Dolph Ziggler. Maybe Dolph stops him from cashing in, and that's the feud that's going to end up happening for the next month or so. I mean, we're only really buying time for Cody Rhodes to come back. When Cody Rhodes come back, he's going to be the man. Absolutely going to be the man. He's going to take over that spotlight. I think if they can have him back before Royal Rumble, that would be great. But I don't know if you would have him win the Royal Rumble, because the fans kind of hate when you pretty much foreshadow the winner of the Royal Rumble. So I don't know if you want to bring him back before then and kind of let him get some momentum going, and then possibly earn himself a title shot, or maybe taking the Money in the Bank briefcase away from Theory. That can all be, something they can work out later on. But going into SummerSlam, the one match I am looking forward to, honestly, is not even one that took place on Monday Night Raw. One that didn't get any build on Monday Night Raw either. So we'll talk about that Friday when we do our SmackDown and Rampage video. All right. That's everything that pretty much happened on Monday Night Raw leading into SummerSlam. Friday, we will do our SummerSlam predictions. So guys, tune in for that. Let's see how many I get right this time. Last pay-per-view, I did not do so hot. Took too many chances. This one, I'm going to nail them. I'm going to nail them all. Watch. But I'm Cato, man. That's your Monday Night Raw replay, go home episode leading into SummerSlam pay-per-view. I'm signing out. Peace.